All right, guys, here is a very streamlined tour of make.com. I'm only going to go over the things that I think you will consistently use. There's a lot of useful features in here, but you tend to just stick with these main things that I'm going to show you. So without any more waiting around, let's get into it. So this tab right here on the top left is called organization. This is important if you were going to let other developers come in and actually do the work for you of creating the scenarios, or you're going to have multiple team members. But even if not, this is where you can keep track of your operations here, which is something that you will have to consistently look at if you were running a lot of scenarios at the same time, or using any that are done in high volume. So say like 1,000 at a time. Uh, you will have to keep your eye on the operations here. So how it works is typically, depending on your plan, you will get a certain amount of operations per month. So on the core plan, you get 10,000 per month. As you can see, I've used up 2,000 operations, so about 20%. And if you want to add more, there are ways to do that without actually upgrading your plan. So it's pretty cool if you just want to buy an extra 1,000. If you scroll down here, you can see that it will have all of the scenarios in your system that are actually currently running, or could run, I guess, just active. So that's how you can check all of that just to make sure whichever scenario you are looking for is actually running. So say if I wanted to find the create econ product picks, you just come down here and just look for it, and okay, perfect, it is running. All right, good. If you have team members, they'll be under team, or under users actually. And this is where you can have everybody who you want access to the software. This is where you can store them and find all their information. Subscriptions, obviously, where you can find out what subscription plan you're on and upgrade and everything. Okay. If we go down to team, it's a lot of the same as what's in organization, so you won't really end up using this a whole lot. But there are things you can do here with notifications, where if you don't want certain notifications, like say if you're testing a scenario that you're building for somebody else, you may want to turn off errors in scenario runs, so they're not just getting emails all day saying that the scenario is not running properly, because sometimes that happens when you're testing, and that's the whole purpose of testing. But you don't want to, annoy your client with constant email saying stuff's going wrong, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. So if you just come over to the right here and just press off, just like that, those emails won't get sent anymore. You just got to make sure that you turn it back on before you give the finished scenario to somebody, so then when it actually does have an error, they can be notified. So that's an example of that. Come back to team. Not much else here that we really need to worry about. Scenarios. So this is where you'll spend a lot of your time. This is where every scenario you've created will be stored. There's not too much going on here. You can just see everything that you've made comes down here. You can give it a name and everything so you can track everything better. And then also, if you want to organize it a little bit better, you can drag and drop and create new folders on the left-hand side. So if you go add folder, you can say whatever you want it to be. I'm just going to name this demo folder. Press save. You can see that we have demo folder here. And then if you want to store one of these, like say click up school post idea generator, you can go over to demo folder and just drag and drop. And then when you click in the demo folder, it only has the scenarios that you put into it. So I definitely recommend organizing everything, because it does get a little bit messy in here, and it's pretty much impossible for it to not get messy. So this can just make your life a lot easier. If you want to create a new scenario, you would just press this button on the top right hand side here, which will create the new scenario, and then you can build and do whatever you want in here. So if you want to add a module, like say for example a Google Sheet module, if you want to add that, you can choose whichever function you want within Google Sheets and then add it to the scenario here. So I clicked on add a row, so this will add a row to a Google Sheet whenever this scenario is triggered. And then if you want to add something else like OpenAI, you can add that, so then you can easily implement AI into the system. We'll go over more of this in the future. I'm not actually going to create a scenario here for you guys. I'm kind of just doing a little tour, but that is how that would work. Okay. That's all you really need to know in here. In active scenarios, not too much going on there. It's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, if you go to templates, This is where a lot of the newer people, a lot of beginners, this is where you can start and just get your feet wet with make.com. These templates here are actually completely guided, and make.com will actually help you set up these systems. So you just go through and you find one that's useful. So like this one right here, generate ChatGPT completions from Google Sheets rows. So this is actually a pretty useful scenario. It's actually kind of the basis of a lot of my more complicated scenarios. They run off this simple premise of an input gets put into a row in Google Sheets, that data gets pulled into the ChatGPT module, and then it gets outputted back into a Google Sheets row. But if you don't understand how it all works, you can easily just click Start Guided Setup, come down here, and it will have little written tutorials on the top telling you or taking you through step by step on how you should create something. So let's say add or select your account. You just select the account, select the spreadsheet ID that you want to update. You pick whichever spreadsheet you want to actually connect to. This template requires 2 named columns. You can see it just has all of the steps, and it'll walk you through everything. So it's pretty nifty, makes life pretty easy, and it's a good way to learn everything. But there's one more thing I want to take you through. Actually, sorry, 2 more things. Connections. Connections is where all of the software connections that you made to make.com is stored. So, for example, I connected to Facebook, I connected to Twitter, Google Drive, YouTube. This is where everything is stored. And this is where you can also manage it. So you can delete them, you can re-verify them, or you can reauthorize the connection. But yeah, this is just where everything's stored. If you ever want to get rid of one or reset anything, this is where you come to do all that. And then webhooks, very similar to connections. These are just webhooks that are automatically put into certain softwares. Like I got ones with Webflow here. So whenever the scenario was triggered, it'll auto-publish the Webflow site, and so on and so forth. This is where all of this is managed. Again, you can delete, you can edit the scenario, you can turn them off or on, or disable them, do whatever you want. And that's basically everything that you will need to know within make.com that you will actually consistently use. At the bottom left here is where you control your settings for your profile and the resource hub, which can be useful sometimes. But yeah, that's basically everything you will need to know within make.com to at least get started and have a basic understanding of it. So I hope this helps. See you guys later.